Hey guys, Sure Shot Midget here doing another video. This one is going to be on WA system versus the WE, gas blowback system. Now I owned an old GMP WOC back a while ago, so I don't want to hear, you don't know what you're talking about, you've never owned them. I owned a GMP WOC and this King Arms, and they have both been absolutely horrible, and the reason why I'm comparing these two is because they're both in the same price category. For a WE M4 standard 14.5-inch barrel on e-bike, it's like $236 or something like that. Between $230 and $250 you can find them on websites, online. The King Arms, stock out of the box, like the A1 style, I think they run for about $250 as well. Now you can spend like $350 to $400 on the, I think the GI sells like their custom ones with like the Daniel Defense rail. I don't even know if they sell those anymore, but the reason why I'm doing the comparison is because the price difference. A lot of people out there are like, oh, that's a WA copy. The real WAs are good. Okay, I haven't owned a real WA or an Inakatsu or a Viper Tech or even GHK. They've kind of twisted the WA system a little bit, and I hear what they've been doing is pretty good. I actually really want a GHK M4, but the WE, I built this thing for so cheap. I built this M4 this M16 for like 220 bucks. Okay, it's insanely cheap, and it's worth a good 400 with the 1P mag. So, alright, so let's start off with the magazines. I have a WE PMag and a GMP WA system PMag. So PMags, they're both PMags, so it's a pretty fair comparison there too as well. Now, dang it, I should have brought in the real PMag down here to compare. Whatever. Height-wise, the GMP is a little bit taller. The GMP is metal, so if that's a plus for you, the real ones are plastic, and the WEs are plastic. So to me, I like plastic ones. They'll be lighter in your plate carrier, or your vest, or your belt rig, especially a belt rig. You don't want a lot of weight in your belt rig. At least with my belt rig, it's tightened all the way, and it's still loose, so maybe I should gain weight. Just kidding. I need to figure something out with that. Normally, because it's kind of pointless, because if I put like a water bottle in the pouch and then my pistol, the thing is like falling down, so it's like I should just probably carry nothing, or just the shotgun shells in there and the speed loader, but then all the other pouches will just have nothing in it. It'd be pointless. So I don't know, I'll have to figure that out. I might have to get a different belt rig, because the one I got was insanely cheap. So back to the magazines. The valves in the back, the WE is a lot smaller. I'm just going over features type things. The feed lips on the GMPs are metal. On the WEs, they're plastic. To take apart the magazine, to swap feed lips, 2 Allen wrenches on the top to take that one off, 1 flathead for the WE. I feel like the WE is a lot better. It's a lot easier to switch. 1 screw versus 2. But also this right here extends to the back, and then when you take the outer top off, this valve back here comes out. So this valve on the WE is not connected to the feed lip whatsoever. The feed lips, I've never had one break. I actually have like a few spares. They are very thick. Markings, it says 5.56 times 45, which some people say, oh, it holds 45 rounds. No, not times 45 in the magazine. 5.56. 45 is as far as I know, the millimeter of the shell. Forget if it was the millimeter of the shell. That makes sense, because the actual round itself is not 45 millimeters. So I think it's actually the length of the cartridge is the times 45. Okay, what else? The base plate on the WE, it's much easier to take off. And also, like the real one, it's actually flush. This one is like at an angle. I think the real one is flush. I'll have to check that again. Different generations might be different. So, you take that cap off. Inside of here you have this valve. You can take that out. You have this screw to take the inside, insides out, and then this other screw to take the insides out, and that other, that was a bad explanation. This one screw, you take the insides out, and then there's a screw on the bottom of the insides that you do to separate it completely. Now this one you can separate it from here, but you have to pop out these pins, and it is a freaking pain, and it leaks from out here. If it leaks from inside of here, it's a little bit better because it's kind of encased. It's just my opinion, it's kind of encased in something. Also, plastic will probably be better on cool down. The magazines, these are 35-ish, 35, 32 bucks, around there, between 30 and 35, and these are between 40 and $50, US dollars. So, I mean, this says PMAG 30, but, oh, you know, over here it says PTS, and then there's a professional training. Yeah, I don't really care for the trademarks on this, to be honest. And also the like the lines on the WE are a lot more realistic. Like the holes, the grooves are a lot bigger, and I know that the real one only has one. Depends on the generation. The generation that I've used for a real one only has one, I believe. Oh my gosh, I should have went and got that. Whatever. Also, one good thing about the WE is you can actually take the insides out and replace shells. Let's say you want to go for the Magpul look. I don't know where you can buy these, but you could possibly try to search around on the internet for Chinese websites and find like a bunch of, let's say you have 6 mags, buy like 6 shells and put your internals in and use it as a PMAG, and then you can swap over the STANAG. You can do whatever you want. WE does need to come out with the 20-rounder PMAGs. They have the 20-round Vietnam mags. That's one thing that they need to make is the 20-round PMAGs. Because I love the 20-round Vietnam magazines, which it'll be bad for me, because then I have to go out and buy all those because I already bought the Vietnam mags. But the good thing that they need to do is make the standard internals, which that actually wouldn't work. Because the way the Vietnam magazines work is that it doesn't, like, this whole internal part doesn't slide out. The shell of the Vietnam magazine is actually like the part that holds the gas. So I like this design where you can slide the shell off. I actually have a STANAG shell, so I could turn this to a STANAG if I wanted to. Also, the bolt lock switch on here, you can turn it off, push the valve down, push it back, push it forward, or not the valve, push the knob back tab, and then pull this button back, and then when you push it forward, it'll click up. With this one, there is no bolt lock dry fire mode. It's just this tab right here, which actually, to get the bolt to lock back, you have to put some heat shrink on it. Now, one good thing about this system is with the heat shrink, you can put heat shrink on there and make the bolt grab higher, whereas with the WE, you cannot. You have to do it to the bolt catch. So that's one plus I like about this. I think that's it. I think that's it about the magazines. Gas efficiency, I haven't been able to use these very much because I've just had non-functioning guns, but these WEP mags are amazing. So now moving on to the guns. Let's start with the stocks. Now on my WEM16 I have a full stock, so let's just talk about buffer tubes, not really stocks in general. Buffer tubes, I don't know a whole lot about these things because I haven't, I'm part of WE pages and groups, but I haven't experimented with them because I've never had it. I have not had a standard WE buffer tube. When I got this gun, I built it with this WE full stock, and it's not a standard buffer tube. So I don't know what stocks will fit the buffer tubes. You'll need to go out there and see for sure. This one, I don't even know. I don't have another gas blowback stock or a real stock that I can pop on here to see if it, if it does, will accept real stocks right out of the box. Go check some other place out. I'm sorry I don't have that information. I don't want to give you false information. I would say yes, it'll fit a real stock because I think this is like an AEG spec stock and it's loose. So I would say yes, but just go Google it or go find a WE page. That's the best place to find out. External wise, the WA system has a lot better externals. I mean, for $250, $300 you pay for the King Arms, you get Colt trademarks. So if you're a huge Colt fan, this is the gun for you to buy. But for the WE, I mean, the quality on the body is about the same. They're both aluminum. I like the WE's finish. On the upper here, the black upper, it's a really nice finish. It's anodized. With this, I think it's anodized as well. But it's a gray kind of, which apparently the real ones are like that. So, at least the Colt ones. So, I mean, good for them. They made it realistic. It says made in Hong Kong on the other side, though. I don't like that. And there's nowhere on this gun that says made in China. No. I mean, there might have been on the lower. No, I don't think there is. I think WEs don't say anywhere like made in China, made in Taiwan. Because my PDW doesn't have any markings like that either. So, trademarks is a, WA Systems good. Also, I know Prime makes lowers, Colt trademark lowers, Troy lowers, and then I think Voltor lowers, but they are extremely, extremely expensive. There are companies that make trademark bodies for WEs, but they are extremely expensive. To be honest, I would like the stock thing, the stock setup, or go get some laser engraved. Just take it to a laser engraving place and just give them like the pictures. I want this. Just have them do Troy trademarks. Or something, whatever trademarks you want. I was thinking about doing this, but I have the worn lower, so I might do it with my PDW or another M4 that I build. Because I would like another WE, like a shorter barrel, but I could just build a second upper. But I don't know. I've had issues, hop-up issues with this, so I'll get into that later. Internals. Well, the threads on the upper receiver on the M4, on the WEs, will accept real rails. This is a real rail right here. It just pops on there with no modification. I don't know about the King Arms. When I had this off, I should have tried it, but there was a Daniel Defense airsoft rail that fit on here perfectly fine. That I had tried. I actually got it with it on here. So, Daniel Defense airsoft rails will fit, just to let you know. It was a Mark 12 rail. So, I don't know if it's real, no spec or not. Same thing with the buffer threads. Not sure, but the WEs are on both the lower receiver for the buffer and the upper receiver for the rail or barrel nut, whatever. So, next, internals. Outer barrels. The outer barrels on the WAs, most of them have 5.56 trademarks. The King Arms, the G&P both did, and I really, 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 really like that. Now, these WA barrels, you can actually get a conversion kit, an RA-Tech conversion kit, that'll actually accept, these WEs will accept WA system outer barrels. And I was thinking about doing that, building the second upper, like a 14.5 inch, and buying myself just a G&P or King Arms or any trademark WA system outer barrel, and then buying that kit thing. So, I don't know if I'll build a second upper. When I work in the summer, I might just drop like $200 on a, an inner barrel, a hop-up, a bucking, an outer barrel, a rail, a bolt, and a charging handle, and a nozzle, obviously, just a second complete upper. Alright, internals. My phone, by the way, is working. On my past video, I think I uploaded that one. My video was, my phone was acting retarded. Like, I couldn't take videos, I couldn't take pictures, and it was all because I think iOS 7 was the last update that downloaded, like, the photo. Like, it's an app that you can't delete that has all your photos. So all the photos I delete, I automatically go to that and they get stored on the phone. So then you have to go delete it the second time off of there. I kind of like that, though, because you can recover. You just have to know technology, which I don't. Or know what you're updating to. Now, these are the lowers. Reel-wise, the WE fits a real magazine in the magazine well with no modification. It slides right on in there. It doesn't click into place due to the bolt carrier. I think it's the nozzle specifically that blocks it. But with the WA, the magazine gets stuck, so it's obviously a lot tighter, or a little bit tighter. So WE, more realistic on that side. They will accept real or airsoft gas blowback pistol grips. Let's see. Talk about the trigger. Actually, bolt lock. Bolt lock on the WEs grab on the left side, as you can see. The WAs grab on the right side. Now the WA, this one specifically, stock King Arms comes with the steel one, which is a good idea, but there's actually no steel insert on the stock King Arms carrier, I don't think, which it just tears the carrier apart, where the carrier I have has a steel insert. So they need to put a freaking steel insert on their bolt. That's just a horrible idea. Everything in here is like the real thing. You pop out the pins in order to get the parts out. Now, the one thing that's unrealistic is these pins actually move by themselves. They'll come loose. It's not, that's a fitment issue. They've got to stay in there. And they don't. The hammer has a roller bearing. That's good for gas blowback users. It cycles smoothly. The quality on the parts, I've not had any issues. To me, they're really good. The issue with the King Arms is when you get the nozzles and hoppets are horrible. At $250, you should not have horrible parts like that. The sear, the hammer, the trigger are all aluminum. Same with the knocker setup. And the auto sear, I believe, steel, which I don't know why they always make those steel. The knockers, let's go to the W now. The trigger box, it's a trigger box, which I like this system. It's not as realistic, but it's much more reliable. It's actually a trigger box. You take out the screw back here, you take out your, no, you don't have to take out the magazine catch. You take out the, first of all, you take off the screw for the pistol grip. Then you can take out the screw back here, and then you can slide your selector switch out. Take your pistol grip off before you slide your selector switch out, and then you can pull your trigger box out. You can replace anything in there. This trigger box went through 10,000 rounds, and then I replaced the hammer and the valve lock, and it's gone through another 2,000, and it's still functioning. So that's about 10,200 rounds, or oh my gosh, 11,000 rounds. Wow. I don't even know what the heck I was saying there. It's about 11,000 rounds, which is a lot. All stock parts. Now, the hammer is new. I bought that new. Didn't even think about buying a used one. I just bought one new. Here, not too long, I'm going to buy a knocker, because I've not replaced. A knocker, a sear, and a trigger, because those are the parts that have all been stock. And they've been through a lot of stress, so I can get those for 15 bucks for all those parts, and just pop them right down in here and be set for a long while. The bolt lock is steel like the King Arms. The hammer, the sear, the everything in here is aluminum, but there's actually a steel insert on the front of the hammer where it contacts the firing pin, which makes your hammer last. That's a good idea. Also, it's got a roller bearing. It's a bigger roller bearing, so I'm happy about that. Selector switches. The selector switch on the King Arms, it clicks into place. It doesn't really stop. I hope you guys can get this. It moves, like it rotates. It doesn't, move itself. Like, the dimensions of the hole is good. It's not like it, completely it rotates. It doesn't wiggle. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I hope you guys know, what I'm talking about. It moves. There's a little bit of play side to side, while, the directions you're going to go to switch it. But it doesn't play it plays front and back, too, in and out. But it doesn't really play, side to side. It clicks into place pretty well. Positive. Now, the WEs, not an audible click, but it actually clicks into place better. It stays into place. It's harder to turn. Like the real thing. Now, this thing actually wiggles back and forth. You can move it back and forth in the socket. I don't really care for that. Also, it did grind, so I put a seal, an actual rubber seal, on the outside of the selector switch. I slid it on there, and now it's smooth. So, if you're having that issue, check that out. Slide a seal over there. There's a gap on this too. So, if you're getting a kind of a squealing sound, you can do that too. You can see there's actually pretty good power on that, but when you pull the trigger on the WE, the hammer stays forward, and on this it doesn't. It springs back and forth. That's the knocker setup. The knocker setup, I don't like that at all. Alright, going on to the uppers. Sorry guys, this is a long video. Upper receivers, we've already talked about that. Pull the carrier out. Now to pull it out, you just slide it right on out. This one, your charging handle locks into the receiver, pull your carrier out, and then unlock your charging handle. Charging handles. Let's start with charging handles. Okay, so like I said, the charging handle on the WA system just slides right on out. I think the GHKs, they changed that. This is a well charging handle. It's an insanely cheap China metal. It's horrible. Does not have the locking parts that lock on the receiver. The latch here is not 1-to-1 scale. The actual back part's not 1-to-1 scale. The King Arms is just like this, except it's gray. Now, you can put real ones in there by sanding down the sides, but WEs fit real ones with no modifications, as I heard. Now, I actually had to modify this WE to fit in the WE upper, because I bought them separately, and I think it's because the WE used to be a closed bolt. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to ask the owner, the previous owner, but I think it was. And I built this gun completely. I didn't buy it from one guy. I bought it parts from 6 different people. It started with the trigger box, the spare trigger box I had, and I wanted to build a gun. The charging handle here is aluminum. It's got a steel latch. Okay, a steel latch on the WE. So that is going to last a lot longer, but it will tear up your receiver on the side here. So I don't really care about that. The real ones normally have aluminum latches, and the receivers are steel on real ones, I believe. I don't even know that. I believe that the steel on the real ones, they're steel. I haven't even tried that. I don't want to say for sure, but that's what I think. Which that would make sense, because on a real charging handle, the latch is aluminum, so the latch would get torn up before your upper. And, you know, in the real gun world, you really don't want your upper getting torn up. There's not a whole lot of people out there that are like, oh yeah, I don't care if he gets, you know, scratched up and stuff, because real guns in general shouldn't scratch at all, unless they've been through a lot of use. Now, I haven't like been in the military, obviously, or anything, so I don't know for sure, you know, how that stuff wears out. I don't know that, because I've seen guns with, like, real guns with actual worn look, which obviously, you know, that they've been used a lot. It's got the sides on here. I had to sand those down and sand the little top part down to get it to run smoothly in my upper. Not sure why, but I had to do that because it was grindy. Now it's smooth. The carriers. The WA carrier, this is a well carrier. It's a really good carrier. A lot of people out there are like, oh, well, all the carrier does is hold your nozzle, okay? It's black. It's flat black. I like the look. The nozzle here does not return. It is the Iron Airsoft aluminum nozzle, and there's the nozzle guide does not even lock into place at all. It just wiggles. I don't know why. It's a horrible design. That system there. Only one nozzle guide there. Gas key here is 2 screws, which they're fake. To get the nozzle out, you have to pull this E-ring down here out, which those E-clips, sorry, those E-clips are dreadful. It's got a steel insert on the front here where the bolt lock grabs. That's really it. Also, it's hollow in the back, like the real ones, at least the military ones. And then you got the WE. It's hollow, or completely soldered in the back. It's got a steel insert right here. It's a lot bigger. Your nozzles here springs back and forth. These nozzles are awesome. There's a little bit of resistance there, which I need to figure out what that is. I've been having a little bit of resistance, and I'm not sure if it's the pin sticking out a little bit too much, but you hit it right there. I think it's the spring back in there. Not exactly sure what that is. I'll have to get my flashlight and look down in there, but it's kind of hanging up on something a little bit. It has to be something back in here. That's what it feels like. It's probably like a metal burr, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But it cycles perfectly fine, I assure you. The gas key only has one screw, unlike the real thing, but you can take it off and on, and that has a roller bearing on it, so that rolls in your charging handle, and it allows for smooth action. The WA system does not. This is also a gray finish. The RI-Tech steel bolts are black. You could polish it if you want. 2 nozzle guides, one on the top, one on the side. Kind of compare them. I should compare them with the real one, but you know, this is just comparing the two systems, so it's not really to the real thing. It's just airsoft wise. Also, the nozzle on the WE actually sticks to the chamber. Show you that. Here's the WA first, the King Arms. Now I know some of the WA system actually doesn't stick though with the metal nozzle. With the WE, it does. Sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't when I have the upper off, but as you can see, it sticks. Also, hop-up wise, the hop-up system on the King Arms, and the WA systems, a lot of them, you adjust it from down here. The actual unit itself is plastic on the King Arms. You need to make it metal. King Arms, get your crap together. Okay? There's no part you want to make on a gas blowback plastic. I mean, seriously. Except for your nozzles, which need to flex. The hop-up unit does not. Doesn't even adjust anymore. These units are garbage. The old GMP hop-up I had was even garbage too. It adjusts from here. Also, the feed ramp, it's non-existent, and a lot of times you'll get jams. And people say it's more realistic. It's not, to be honest. The actual locking lug parts are built into the upper, but what a real one does is it picks up the it slides up on this side. On the the other round that's coming up is going to be on the other side. It slides up on that side. There's two different sliding parts. Well, on this one there's only one in the middle for obviously one BB. So it's really not that realistic whatsoever. And this thing is dirty. I'm selling this, so this thing's horrible. Put the thing together. Also, buffer system. Forgot to go over the buffer system. Sorry. The buffer is aluminum. It's not realistic. The buffer itself is plastic, not realistic, and the spring is actually pretty short. It's strong enough to push the bolt carrier back, but it's just not very realistic. Buffer lock is not realistic. WE buffer lock is 1-to-1 scale is the real thing, and the buffer itself is actually like the real thing. It's the same size. Now, it's not weight-wise, but I added weights inside of this that I had laying around, and now it weighs as much as the real thing. And the spring is actually 4 coils longer than the King Arms, so therefore you'll get more spring power. So when I charge the gun, it's not springing back all the way. I have to check that out. Although I do have a spare nozzle spring, but I really don't want to pull that thing out. Lock the bolt back, send it forward. It makes a pretty nice sound. Racking it. I'll do that with this really quick. Yeah, I like the WEs a lot better. Now, hop-up wise, issues, I mean with my WE, I'm having hop-up issues. With the Angel Custom bucking that I got, it is horrible. .30s, it doesn't stay consistent, so someone's sending me .36s, so I'm going to try those out. The gun can hop .36s, but I hope it stays consistent with that gram, but if it doesn't, I'm going to swap out my frickin' bucking, and maybe even my barrel. So dry firing the WE. Turn the bolt lock mode on. There you go, locks back. And the King Arms I can't shoot because it's broken. Recoil wise, stock out of the box, WEs feel like 22s. But the weight I added in here, it feels more like, I feel like without the buffer, it feels like a 9mm firing. A lot of people say 22. Then with the heavier buffer, I feel like it's a 45. Shooting a 45 out of a rifle with that buffer I have in here. With the weights in it, I feel like it's shooting a 45. With the, obviously, with a big rifle like this, a 45 caliber round is going to be pretty light in such a big rifle. But I mean that's what I feel like it's shooting. Next time I go to my great grandpa's to shoot, I will actually do a video, probably with the contour. I'll actually one-hand them both of them, and I both fire them side by side to show you, and I'll lay one down and then shoulder it and shoot, just to show you comparing exactly. But the real rifle that I shoot, the AR, actually has a full stock, so it's a pretty fair comparison. But the one thing about the AR is that the AR that we have is actually the 1997, I think it was, I don't know how long it was, but my father bought it during 1997, which is the year I was born. He bought it then, and it does not have, it has to have a full stock. It only came with 10 round magazines. What else? No flash hider, which is stupid, so when you shoot it at night, it's like a huge flame comes out of it. And then there's a lot of recoil on it because there's no flash hider muzzle brake to send the gas in different directions. So that sucks, so it won't be exactly a fair comparison, but just kind of give you a look at it. What else? There were some other hindrances about the rifle. Oh, no bayonet lug. Look, putting a bayonet on my gun is going to make it more dangerous. Like, I'm going to go kill somebody with a bayonet. What's that? I'm going to kill one extra person. You're saving one life. No. Stupid. And the magazine doesn't even go in the gun unless it's wrapped with the King Arms. There you go. With the WE, hammers forward. Mag goes right in. So, there you go. Stay tuned for more videos, guys. That's just my comparison. I'd say go get a WE. A lot of people talk smack about WEs. With their pistols, I had a 1911. It worked really good. I sold it. Then my WP226. Been through 10,000 rounds, and now it's starting to have a buttload of issues. Still working that thing out, though. WM4 systems, thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. The King Arms, 1 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down. The Western Arms system in general, it's just not that good. It gets really, really expensive. I mean, out of the box, to buy this, to have it compete, you'll want to swap out the hop-up bucking and barrel for something better, and you'll need to have a spare nozzle, because these will break. With the WEs, to be honest, they are pretty dang good out of the box. Their buckings are not the best, so swap out with an RA Tech or Maple Leaf bucking, and that's it. Buy spare nozzle, keep spare nozzles. I'm buying one here within 2 months to keep as a spare. Also, you can't rack it if it's on safe. So that's not how you can't even turn this one on safe, like the real thing. This one you can because it kind of broke when I had my WE. Actually, when I got it, it was like that. There's actually a dent inside the trigger, because when you turn this, the trigger actually keeps it from moving. But there's actually a dent in the trigger because the previous owner forced it on there. So, but you still can't fire it, can't cock it, it's still dead. So stay tuned for more videos, guys.